Hello and welcome back to Blueboxd. This is a show where we log everything and anything from across the universe. I'm Rylie.
I'm Jett.
And welcome back to the show. We're talking about episode 4? Episode 4 of series 15, or series 2. Lucky Day.
Lucky Day.
Interesting episode.
Yeah.
I fear. I think it's, we can just talk about it, but it's interesting. Like, I sat there and I thought about it for a while. And unfortunately, we didn't film this straight after. Like, we're miles. Like, we're up to episode 6 now.
We're a while away.
But, like, coming back to it now, I'm just like, I'm more, than I was before.
Really?
Yeah, because, like, I sat there, I sat with it for, like, 2 weeks, came back to it, and I'm just now, like, initially I really enjoyed it. And I'm coming back and I still enjoy it, but I also have problems.
Did you do a rewatch of it?
Yeah. I did a rewatch and I did a rewatch of this and the next one, and I think it's very, I don't know, it's interesting is the word I'm going to use.
Cool. I enjoyed it. I watched it once. I watched it more recently though.
Yeah.
I had to catch up after Lux.
No, honestly,
I let it go for like a good 2 or 3 weeks.
I mean, yeah. We stopped doing the podcast when Lux came out.
Although, when I was watching your review on it, I was like, hang on a minute, that's not what I didn't like about Lux.
There was more?
Yeah, dog. The fucking relentless score.
Yeah.
The fact that they all have Texan accents in Miami.
Oh, yeah, but we're just American. Like, it's so random.
And they're like the worst at whatever. Anyway, not the episode.
Can't get into Lux again. But yeah, okay, so this episode kind of starts like most of the series 2 episodes start now. The Doctor and Belinda, they jump out and they start vindicating. And I think it's still nice to see that Belinda is like conflicting with the Doctor, being like, I want to go home. I'm glad that they're not just friends. Yeah. It's a problem that I'm going to have in a later episode. But right now, I'm glad that she's like, okay, let's go. Totally. Stop and go. And it also implies that they're doing other adventures in between just stopping and going instead of just getting involved. Yeah. Which I can fuck with. Plus, I hope that Belinda's getting like a nap in between it. Because like, pardon me, episodes 1 to 3 all happen within like the first, like the same day for Belinda. Yeah. Which is already after a difficult shift being a nurse. Yeah. Horrendous.
Yeah. That's true. Fuck.
Maybe she just wants to sleep.
Maybe she does want to sleep. Maybe you should let her sleep in the TARDIS.
Yeah.
In a nice comfy bed.
Literally.
Or get her home.
That also works.
Come on. Do it. Even though it's destroyed.
Whoops.
Where's your home?
Gone.
Where's your home, Belinda? Is it this one?
The evil landlord.
The stars.
The evil landlord is
still there.
He's still there. I will say banger fit for Shruti.
What is his fit in this episode?
It's like, it's not his full on. It's not his full on like Joy to the World fit. It's a nice coat, but it's got like nice stripes over it. He just looks sick.
I vaguely remember because he's not in this episode a lot.
No, which is, I mean, we can get onto it in a second. But it's a bottle episode.
A bottle episode?
Yeah. Like, you know how like Turn Left and Love and Monsters?
Yeah.
Like, it's a Doctor Light.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make sense when you've got only 8 episodes in a season. One of my questions for you is thoughts on having this episode in an 8 episode season.
Yeah. It's interesting because I think the episode is interesting. I think it's fun. I liked it. But yeah, it doesn't progress much. Also, I'll not jump to the end of it, but I'm confused where it takes place in the timeline of things. Yeah,
right. Okay, so from what I understand, obviously the Ruby stuff happens in between Space Babies and Devil's Card. No. Devil's Card and Boom. So Ruby and the Doctor at that point have just met the Beatles and they're about to go and do Boom.
Oh.
Right? Which I don't like because it fucks up my own numbering, like the way that I've reordered the series. Yeah. Boom and Devil's Card are fucking all the way over there. Yeah. So yeah, it kind of fucks that up a little bit.
Because this feels like something that's like not oh, this happened in the past kind of thing. This feels like something that you should bring forward.
Yeah, like, surely you would talk about that.
Because it's like a distrust with Unit. It's like, that's cool.
Yeah.
You know? Also, I will say, even though it doesn't tackle some of the issues that well, I was kind of reminded of Love and Monsters from part of this episode.
This is Love and Monsters Part 2.
Yeah, it's good. Like, I was like, oh, but it's definitely not the same thing. But
no.
It's fun.
Well, the thing is, it starts off almost as the same thing, and I'm like, this is cool, I fuck with this. And I like, we've said this before, we like Love and Monsters as an episode.
It's good.
And I always wonder about that greater world in Doctor Who, especially Earth, because it's not really a character. It's a place, but there's nothing going on. And that's something that I like about Ruby, when you get to go back to Ruby, and she's living in her life, doing things. I like that so much. It feels like the world is expanding and that she's still, like, those extra elements of Doctor Who are still active.
Oh, sorry, I just was reminded of something, and the stuff with Ruby in this episode is before Boom.
Yes.
So only 2 episodes have happened.
Yeah.
Why does she have like severe PTSD?
No, because this is okay. So the flashback happens in between those episodes, and then the rest of the episode happens presumably after the finale of season 1.
Wait, the flashback? What? Like the beginning of the episode?
Yeah.
No.
Because okay.
That's so weird. What the fuck?
So, yeah, we see Ruby in a lost adventure that we haven't seen, and obviously Conrad is there watching them.
Yeah.
And he gets marked by the shriek.
Right. No, you're right. Yeah. That's fair. Yeah. Totally. Yeah.
That scene did remind me actually how well we've got it with Belinda this year.
Yeah.
Because like comparing it to the Doctor and Ruby's interaction, like, oh, we're best friends, yoo-hoo, yiki. It's kind of grating.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't care. And it's like, now looking at what we've got, I'm like, no wonder. This is what we could have had.
Yeah.
And this is what, like, we didn't get that. And it sucks because I like Ruby, and I think Millie Gibson can hold an episode.
Yeah, she's really
well.
Good in this.
Really, really well.
She's also really good in
73 yards?
Yeah, 73?
Yeah, 73 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like she can really do it. I just don't think she's got enough grit in the actual season when she's with the Doctor.
Totally.
Which just makes me appreciate Belinda even more.
Yeah, for sure.
I will say that before we do that, in the like the pre-credits, pre-title sequence, we see like the young Conrad. And I don't really know about Lucky Day. Like the Doctor goes and is like, 2007 New Year's Day, woo! Today's could be your lucky day. And I'm like, okay.
That's why it's called that. Interesting.
Like, that was really strange of you to say it like that, but also what does that mean? I don't.
Yeah, it doesn't really have anything to it.
Yeah.
It doesn't make. Yeah, what does it mean? What did he even give him?
It was like a 50p coin or something.
Why?
Well, because I guess pass on, like, you know,
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know. But it was funny when he went back after he saw the Doctor and he went back to his mum and he got twatted. That was great. Enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Big fan.
Yeah. You're ruining my special day.
I will say though, the big question is, did that happen? Because we understand this thing at the end of the episode. It's very Love and Monsters.
Yeah.
And he's reciting this story through his podcast and stuff. So we realise very quickly that he's an unreliable narrator.
But do we realise that at the point though? Because he seems like he's not.
Well, we don't realise it at that point. But it sounds like yeah, because it sounds like when he's doing this intro, he's talking to Ruby.
Yeah.
On the podcast, explaining how he knows the Doctor. I would absolutely not doubt that he'd be like, "Oh yeah, my mum hit me," because at the end of the episode, he also uses his mum as an excuse, being like, "Oh, she's dead, but she's actually fucked off in France or something." Yeah. Which, to be honest with you, is a fate worse than death. But
it's true. I don't know why anyone would go there.
Like willingly.
Wait. What if by the end she's on the Statue of Liberty, floating about? and
That's
amongst the stars.
That's Conrad's mum.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Either statue of what? Wait, why am I thinking of the meme right now? You know, the Statue of Literally. I can't say Statue of Liberty. Right. Okay. Either on that or the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes more sense. It's the Eiffel Tower.
It would actually, yeah, because it's in America.
Mistake. But they're both French.
Yeah.
They're both French.
I fuck with it.
Yeah. Well, she's just there in the stars.
Conrad,
your mum.
Conrad, mom.
No.
I will say, when there's a really, really nice scene when Ruby is describing the shriek, like they're on their first date or whatever it is, and she's like, "It'll fucking tear you apart," and all the lights go dim, and you see like the shadows, and I'm like, cinema.
Yeah,
like
hard.
I miss
and then
when
he's like, you can really paint a picture, shit.
I do miss when Doctor Who did that though, like using the lights and the camera and all of these elements inside the frame to actually tell a story, which is the most awful film bro-y thing that I say. But like on the same hand, I love when it utilizes it.
You're using the camera? You're using the lighting?
Yeah.
Wait, is this film? Is this a
there's
this is a TV program?
Yeah, man.
Oh my.
Belinda?
What
if we're in Doctor Who?
What if we're in the Lux episode?
That's like the worst one to get trapped in as well.
Oh my god, Blueboxd fans? You guys are real?
There's only one of them. And it's my mum.
Oh my god, there's my brother. You watched an episode? Awesome, man.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Sick.
Oh. But yeah, I think that's a really, really nice story, and I like when Doctor Who remembers that it has a camera.
Yeah.
That it can use.
Yeah, totally.
I enjoy picking up with Ruby after travelling with the Doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's funny that she's kind of got PTSD. Like, bitch, you got shot, you got snotted, sure. Yeah. That was like the extent of it. You got off way easy.
True. Like,
compared to nearly every other companion, you're fine.
It's true. I mean, Jodie's companions got dropped off and immediately into a pandemic.
Right. She just fucking went, here you go.
Global pandemic.
Enjoy.
There you go.
Yeah. But like, yeah, like I understand the idea behind it, and I really like it. I like catching up with the companion after the travel with the Doctor and being like, man, that sucked actually for a lot of it.
Yeah.
Because it does, and I'm glad that people are aware that these travels actually do take a toll. I just think it's really funny that Ruby is the character to do that with, who actually got out a mother and a father.
Yeah. From
her adventures with the Doctor, and not just like heartbreaking wounds.
Totally. And she loves the Doctor.
She does love the Doctor, and the Doctor does not love her.
No, absolutely not.
Fucking hates that.
But at least she got a boyfriend. Oh wait.
Well,
yeah.
Speaking of,
yeah.
Let's talk Ruby and Conrad.
I thought it was sweet.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting, because I thought it was. I thought it felt like strange, like rushed.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess it's like over time. It's trying to do it with a 40-minute episode.
True, that was one of my other complaints later on. But I thought it was like meant to feel rushed, as in like Ruby was looking over Conrad's red flags because she was just so alone and like wanted somebody to talk to.
Yeah,
especially somebody who was like as interested as he was.
True. I think it was sweet at the beginning.
Yeah,
and then like the more that you see it, like he is just asking about the Doctor. He is just asking about the adventures.
Yeah,
and that's mega red flag.
It would have been funny if he went out with Carla, Ruby's mum, and just did Love and Monsters again.
Yeah,
I think that'd be way funnier.
Yeah,
but that's the thing, you can't do that in this. Like, you couldn't do Love and Monsters today because you don't have the same ties to the characters.
True.
Like, there is no Jackie. There is no domestic side of the companion.
Shit, yeah, we've not actually checked in. Like, this is the first time we've checked in with someone on Earth, and it's just an old companion.
Yeah.
Remember when we had Mickey? Remember when we had Jackie?
Yeah, like a whole domestic.
Remember when we had Martha's parents and her sister?
Even Donna's wealth and her mum. You know, like all these things that tied the companion to reality and to home.
Yeah.
Just, you don't have that anymore, which really sucks.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, we get... I mean, there's not much to talk about in terms of their relationship starting out.
Yeah.
It is quite quick.
I think it's really interesting on Ruby's part, right? Where obviously Conrad takes that picture of Ruby and like, who is this woman?
Yeah.
And then Ruby's like, yo, let's go and do a podcast. Fucking what are you doing? Like, actually, who sees that and goes, sure, yeah, fuck it, I'll go on your podcast.
And this is like an episode about Unit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So surely they would be like, wait a minute.
Thank you.
Maybe let's not do this.
Like, it makes Ruby come across as an idiot, right?
Yeah.
Because Conrad obviously has this audience beforehand. And obviously his YouTube channel, his podcast, whatever it is. Listen to like one episode ago.
Yeah.
You'll find out that he's just a fucking nut.
True.
Like, he's a right-wing incel. Like, you can do all of these things if you just do like the tiniest bit of research. And it pisses me off because, like, surely Unit's aware of him, right? Because any mention of the Doctor, the TARDIS, Unit should be like, keep an eye on this cunt, this looks impressive, this looks dangerous.
Yeah, totally.
But they don't, and it's nice to see Unit back. I like the big set. It's interesting, actually, because I much prefer Unit back in the day when it was under the Tower London, nice and cosy and like small. Mm-hmm. But I like that there's a big set and that it allows for a story like this where you can be like, hey, look, this is look at this authority figure keeping secrets from you, conspiracies, totally. Like #Unit Lies. It's cool.
Unit Lies. What an awful hashtag, but fair. But yeah, I like it. It's weird, like, undercover Unit's great. Mm-hmm. Like that a lot more.
Yes.
But it's interesting to see the dynamic between the public and Unit.
Right.
Because, like, over the years, how many times has the planet been invaded?
Yeah, and Unit have just, like, shown up. Which, it brings me on to something, maybe, obviously at the end of this, Conrad gets properly arrested this time.
Yeah.
Now, have you seen Torchwood? Okay. In Torchwood, there's an episode, it's a flashback, and it shows Tosh, one of the main characters, in a Unit prison. And, like, a Unit prison is bleak. There's not even a bed. Like, it's just a fucking container.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's Unit. Like, it has these, it's really interesting. I might put a clip in. It's such a fucking bleak dystopian, like, holy shit, this is the authority that you guys are trying to tell me is good. Yeah. That's what I think Unit should have been. If that's the story that we're going to tell, fucking make them awful. Because they are awful. Yeah. Which maybe brings me back to another point later on. But it is nice to see. I like Ruth Madeley back as the scientific advisor. Yep. I had a horrific flashback to like last year or something. And for some reason I thought she was replaced with a kid who had guns in his fucking Segway.
Oh, I forgot about I forgot that happened.
Flashback.
In canon.
Yeah. But it's nice to see her back. It's nice to see Unit. Colonel Ibrahim fucking sucks. Kate's nice. I will say, it's always fun when Unit does a story because you can always tell there's somebody in Unit that's not meant to be there, and it's always just the character that you haven't seen before. So the second that Ruth Madeley went, you, Annalise Nan, come here. I'm like, you're obviously not a good guy. Yeah. You're obviously a problem.
True.
Which I just think is funny.
Yeah, I never picked up on it, actually, but now that you say it.
It's like...
Yeah, that's true.
At least he's not a harbinger for the fucking gods.
It's true. It's true, at least he's not. But yeah, it is pretty cool. I will say, I know we've not quite got there, we've kind of timey-wimeyed ourselves again.
It's fine.
But when it turns out that Conrad is evil... Yeah. I thought that was a good twist.
I thought that was fucking fantastic. Because me, Rob, and Matt, we all watched it together. Yeah. And I thought, like, I was digging what it was putting down. Like, with the Shriek being this creature that was just, like, stalking. And if I had a nickel for every time that Doctor Who looked like it was going to do a really fun story with Ruby on her own, set in a pub, I'd have 2 nickels. Which is weird. Like, it's not many, but it's weird that it's happened twice. Yeah, right. Because there's always a subversion. There's always a twist. There's always a twist at the end. But, like, I would have been so happy if this story was just Ruby has to defend a pub or, like, this little town from the Shrieks as they're after Conrad. Yeah. Would have been so happy with that. The fact that it then went, here's a twist. and I was not expecting it, and I wasn't really ready for it.
Yeah.
So when it hit, I was like, hold on a fucking minute.
Yeah.
Yo, look at this.
It was good. It was done so well.
The music as well, like from the original, from Robot, which is where Think Tank is from. It's all a classic reference, which I thought was really cool.
Interesting.
And the music's the same theme. I thought that was
cool.
fucking sick.
That's really cool.
But yeah, genuinely good twist.
Yeah, it was actually quite sad though. Like when I was like, oh man.
Especially for Ruby.
Yeah.
Because like as much as I'm not a big fan of her, I'm like, I hope you do okay.
Yeah, that's life kind of ruined a little bit. Yeah. See when it all becomes public. Yikes.
Yeah. Yikers.
But I think the practical shrieks are better than the shriek at the end.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because in Unleashed they were talking about it. So they let the sculptor for the practical ones have like 10 minutes or something looking at the actual costume, and then went, go and make that, because obviously it'll be shitter just from memory. And he made it, and that's what I think they look cooler.
The practical?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Than just, because obviously when you cover something, because it was a practical suit as well, but when you cover something with CG, immediately I just don't like it.
Yeah. Like
it really sucks. It's the same with the meat, it's the same with
it's not as,
every monster.
It's not as creepy, because there's like an element of what's the word that I'm looking for? Like uncanny.
Yeah.
Valley to it, because it's like, oh, this looks like it could be not. This looks like it could be human, but then you're also like, oh shit, no, that's not. Like that's really weird.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And I like that more than just like, here's a monster, which is a shame because everyone's kind of like desensitized to that now.
Which is that's a big thing.
Here's a big monster. You're like,
wow,
cool. That is a monster. But when it's genuinely like scary, creepy, it's better.
What did you think about the design? Like just as a whole?
I think the design was cool. I really liked it. I felt like it felt classic.
It felt like a proper like Alien.
Yeah.
Which
we've not seen them before at all, have we?
Nope.
I'm like, Doctor Who was so cool when it was toys, right? Because they'd be like, what are we going to make a toy out of?
I've thought about this for fucking ages, yeah.
And it's like, the Shrieks are cool.
That's a toy.
What else would you make, like, a toy out of?
Okay, well, season 2, right, I've done this for season 1, I think, in another podcast episode. But season 2, so far, we've got episode 1.
The robots,
and Belinda and the Doctor.
Yeah.
And obviously Polish.
Polish, yeah.
Episode 2, you've maybe got Mr. Ring-a-Ding, and maybe the Doctor.
But then how do you do that? As a, like...
You just make him a little figure, I guess. Like, just a little 3D fig.
But then he's 3D?
Well, I guess you do like a 3D figure, and then you can do a... You can either do it as like as the big one at the end, or you can do it as just like a little 2D bit of card.
That would be cool though.
Just as like an accessory, I guess.
Yeah.
Then episode 3, which is...
Oh my.
Whoa.
The Well.
The Well.
Yeah.
You literally have no toys, really. You can do the human figures, I guess.
Yeah. Well, no. I think that would be ruining it if you did...
A toy of the entity.
A toy of the entity.
So, like, that sucks. There's nothing you can do there.
It's true.
You can do the Shrieks in this episode. You can do the spider from the next episode, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, I guess you could do that. Realistically, nothing else.
It's true.
And then episode 6, I know you haven't seen... Dugadoo. That's about it, man.
Dugadoo.
Like, yeah, like, honestly, it is kind of like... They talk about merchandising when you talk about Doctor Who now, and I'm like, yes, okay, great. Where is it?
Then do it.
Yeah, where is it?
Like, there's so many good ones. I've had, like, 1 million figures.
Yeah.
From Doctor Who. Cybermen, Daleks, Slitheen, fucking, Sycorax?
Yep, yeah, absolutely.
The
werewolf.
The werewolf, the Jadoon.
The Reaper from Series 1.
Yes.
Great. Like, there's so many.
Yeah.
There are so many.
Like, so many. 1 million.
And they're just like, at this point, I've heard people are like, oh, it's not the market or whatever, but like, dog, it's the market. We're here. We want them.
Yeah.
Give me toys. I'm just a child. Give me toys. I will say, when we see Unit again, it just becomes immediately clear that Conrad is correct. Defund Unit. You guys suck at your job.
Yeah.
Like, you let Conrad become a thing. You let that happen. On the same hand, free speech, whatever else. And I think this is maybe where I want to talk about certain politics. Like, Conrad, I think, is a very interesting character. He's very full.
Yeah.
He's rounded. He's full of hate and spite. But maybe that just makes him money. Maybe that's the reason that he's like that.
Yeah.
It's like capitalizing on, like what a lot of YouTubers do at the moment, where it's like, oh, I hate this. I hate Star Wars because it's like this, and then you go, you don't hate Star Wars though. You like it.
It's like Superman right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone's like, oh, it's not dark enough. What is this fucking crap? It's all light blue, and like, I'm like, fuck off, man. Superman's like hopeful.
Have fun.
Why have you been brainwashed by this guy who was like, let's make Superman into like this evil dude?
He only made one film as well.
Yeah,
like one film, and he's in cameos in 2 others, but it's baffling.
Man of Steel.
Yep.
Batman versus Superman.
Yep. And then Justice League.
That's 3.
Yeah. But like, it's shite.
Yeah, it's all they're all shit. Like,
but like that's absolutely the point.
Yeah,
it's people like that I think it's doing well, but obviously more in a political sense.
Yeah,
more in like a conspiracies and the government are out to get you, blah blah blah.
But then at the same time, is he right? Like,
well,
in the way that probably there is like a lot of taxpayers' money going to UNIT.
Yeah,
and they've just proved that they've not done their job right because they've not caught this guy who's quite obviously online and vocal about it.
Like, it's really interesting because to me, he's somebody who's poisoned by his own toxicity.
Yeah.
In terms of, you see that intro at the beginning, he could, like, it starts off as he could be like an absolute fan of the Doctor. That's how he presents himself to Ruby.
Yeah.
Where he's on his podcast and he's like, woohoo, Doctor Who's doing good. And obviously he's not. He absolutely hates them. But is that all just to appeal to an audience? Because they're good layers to that and I like it.
Mm.
But he clearly knows that it's real. And by the end of this episode, he knows that UNIT have an actual monster. They know that, like, he knows for a fact, he's seen the TARDIS materialise and dematerialise more than once. He knows it's real.
Yeah.
But he's lying. He's capitalising on it because it makes money, because it's popular.
True.
Fuck with that heavy. What I don't fuck with is the message, the allegory, the metaphor, the real life things that are happening right now that this episode isn't taking a stance on.
Yeah.
Because like, you can sit here and look at the context of it being, you know, is it these people on the internet that are talking about immigration, trans rights?
Yeah.
But if that's the case, then I feel like it's such a loose space to tell it.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's also like, if you're doing like an episode about these guys have an opinion that is based somewhat in truth and they're really passionate about it to the point where they're gonna get like violent, that's actually not a bad thing. Mm-hmm. Especially if it's like trans rights,
exactly,
or immigration, or like taxation, like,
or the government
or anything, literally anything. You have the right to do that.
Yeah.
Maybe not get violent, but
on the same hand, that's kind of how you get results.
Kind of how it happens.
But like, that's really interesting. And I look at it now and I'm like, maybe it's not so much immigration, trans rights, all these types of things. Maybe it's COVID and COVID deniers. I feel like that fits better. There's masks. They wear masks.
Yeah, totally.
They hide behind things like the monsters of the masks. Things like this, I could understand that if it was more explicit. Like, I know writers who use subtext and they're cowards. But like, on the same hand, it's all well and fine having a vague idea, but like, it doesn't really work in this episode because it boils down to, like, UNIT is a government funded, like, UN focused organisation, and it does use taxpayers' money. They keep secrets from the public to protect them. We know that because we trust UNIT, because we've seen Doctor Who. We know what UNIT is. We know that it is doing as best it can.
Yeah. Totally.
And it's not great. We acknowledge that. Ruby acknowledges it too.
Yeah.
But on the same hand, it doesn't really work when you have this guy who's coming in and he's trying to expose it. He's like, yo, this isn't cool. This is not, it's not great. Everybody's like, oh, but they're doing the best. UNIT's trying their best. It's like,
yeah.
I don't know. It feels very. It's doing both.
It's also crazy because like Unit's gotten better results in the past.
Yes.
So, like, why are we showing that they're trying their best, but their best isn't good enough?
Yeah.
Why are we doing that?
Yeah.
Like, how is it getting worse? It's more money going towards it. It's public now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people know what it is.
There was kids getting a school trip in Unit.
Yeah, like, how has it gotten so much worse that they can't pick up on that? That's like because there's the moment in the episode where they're like, "Oh, Conrad, yeah, you interviewed to work here."
Yeah.
Dog, you said, "Oh, the reason we didn't hire you, I
Don't
immediately didn't think that I could trust you."
Yeah.
And then you went, "Yeah, it's fine."
Yeah.
No, nothing else. Not maybe we should keep an eye on this guy.
Yeah. Maybe. No. It's fine. On you go.
Yeah.
Like beyond that, what I don't like about Unit is that they're so open.
Yeah.
I like that it's a secret, shady organisation that is trying to protect you in secret.
Well, it should be as well because then.
Like, who believes you?
Because an episode like this is hard because it's like. I know that Doctor Who's pretty strong left leaning politically.
When it wants to be.
When it wants to be. But this episode, like, it kind of doesn't feel... It's like... Unit would kind of be, like... The people that would love Unit...
Yeah.
And the public... Would probably be right.
Absolutely.
People right. Because they're like...
Yeah.
Oh, well, they're doing what they can to protect us. It doesn't matter. Whereas, like, the left people would be questioning that. Because there's no information, like, nothing...
Yeah.
That... is to prove that they're actually doing anything.
It does. Like, it seems genuinely odd that the stance this episode takes is don't question authority.
Right?
Allow it. Like,
yeah.
As much as we know Conrad is a bad person,
Mm-hmm.
he is a cunt. He's still maybe doing the correct thing.
Yeah.
Which is a really difficult thing to look at.
Doing it for wrong reasons, definitely.
Yeah.
Because it's like for gain, for whatever validation.
Yeah. I mean, Personally, I think this episode is vaguely dangerous in terms of, like, this is a time where our government are using our money, our tax money, to fund terrible things, like the war, like everything else that's going on right now.
The war.
Like the war.
Multiple.
I don't want to get specific.
Yes, multiple.
Like, this government spreads lies and mistrusts, and it uses people.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Totally.
And in a time where Doctor Who's your show that has always had the correct politics of... I say correct politics, but like the politics of being, we're open, listen, don't just let this happen. You know, the entire 80s run questioned Margaret Thatcher and like, look at this bitch. You know, like, these things, Doctor's always been very, very on that side of the politics.
Yeah.
To watch an episode like this say, don't question authority, I don't think it meant that. I don't think that's where it stands. Because Unit's so like well established in Doctor Who.
Yeah.
But on the same hand, it's dangerous to be like, don't question authority. And like, I'm reading my notes, and I do think I've said it better succinctly here. But every time, like, somebody pulls up Kate and says, "Oh, Kate, you went too far," there are 3 other separate scenes of Ruby or another authority figure going, "But Unit are doing their best. Unit are trying."
Yeah.
And that's just, you're trying to criticise something, but you're not really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Either do it or don't.
Because that's what's happening, right? Can we get into it?
Fuck it.
Okay, cool. I mean, I'm gonna go for America anyway. Right?
Yeah.
They're always like, "Oh, we're in a financial..." Like, left people are like, "We're in a financial crisis. This is Trump." And then the right are like, "No, but he's just like... He's cleaning up Biden's mess, actually. It's all Biden's mess. And everything that's going wrong is just from his time."
Yeah, we're just cleaning that up.
We're just, like, cleaning that. It doesn't... He's doing good things. Like, he's doing the best that he can with what he's got. Dog.
Obviously
no.
not.
No, he's not.
Like, wake up.
He literally tweeted saying, "I can't believe Taylor Swift isn't hot anymore after I said I wasn't attracted to her."
What?
he tweeted that the other day, fucking randomly, and there's so much going on, and everyone's like, yeah, but the president, he's not saying stuff about this because, he's got other things to worry about. Dog is out.
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift's not hot anymore since I said that she wasn't hot. Dog.
No, you're so right.
Who gives a fuck?
No, you are so right.
But, like, who gives a fuck, man? Like, it's so dumb.
Even, like, for this episode, like, Think Tank, the right-wing incel group,
yeah,
they don't really capture that audience that would be in the right-wing... Because, like,
no,
it's so weird. Yes, there would be right-wingers who go, this is all conspiracy, this is all fake, this is all blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And there are also unit who would be supported by the right-wingers. Like, I don't see... It's the same audience is the problem. And if you want to do it like that, that's fine, but it doesn't capture the audience that would be in it. It's like, to me, when you look at Think Tank, it's a group of young people, students and people who look like us, who would be more fucking likely to stand up and go to a Pride March than, go and do whatever they were doing here.
Yeah, it's true, and also the way that they tackle it, because, I mean, they do portray it more as, like, the left as well. Yeah. Because it's not violent protests, like, really.
No.
It's mostly marching with signs, yelling, maybe throwing the occasional thing, and, like, doing it on social media.
Yeah.
That's all there is. Whereas when it is a right-wing thing, I mean, you see it all the fucking time.
Yeah, exactly.
People set fires, they break, like, property. Yep. They assault each other. Like, it's not pretty. No. It's not neat. And, I mean, I feel like there's much to be taken from both sides there to be effective, but they are portraying it more as, like, this is, like, a peaceful protest against unit.
Which is kind of why... this is what bugs me about it, because it's like, it feels so tonally off.
Yeah.
Especially when it's lumping both of these groups into the same camp.
Yeah,
totally. It feels more like it's saying, because the doctor in the episode, he sorry, let me read this. Yeah, sorry. So in the end of the episode, it just both sides it. Yeah. So the doctor's talking to Conrad, and he's talking about he's trying to do his best and save the world and keep people safe, but there's just this noise. And when you think about that noise, you're obviously, I'm thinking he's talking about Conrad, the incels, the right wings, the people who are doing all this damage. But given the text, that noise could very well be climate protesters, people who are, trans activists, people fighting for better rights and for better world.
Totally.
That noise could just be the status quo changing.
Yeah.
Which I think is really fucked up to have in a Doctor episode.
Yeah.
Not for 1 minute do I think that's intentional. Not for 1 minute do I think that this cunt is going and sitting down and saying... But he is also the same guy who wrote Kerblam. So maybe his politics are a little wonky, I think. Just in terms of Doctor Who, especially when you're going... Yeah. You're basically making both left and the right the enemy.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, what it's essentially trying to do is go, yeah, we've got a vague moral, like, thing, but I don't want to trample on, like, either side, so I'm just going to take a centralist approach.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can't have, like, an episode about, like, protests against a government and be like, yeah, it's centralist, though.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not a thing that ever happens.
I genuinely adore the concept of this episode.
Yeah.
And I don't see why it's not working. See, like, I've just said all of that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's not working. When you think about it. Yeah. But it doesn't work. And I think it is maybe just execution. Maybe it's just another draft of the script.
I think it's the time we're in as well.
Well, the context,
yeah. Because if it came out, like, back in 2007 or whatever, I don't think there would be much, like, of, oh shit, this is kind of, like, projecting a few things. Yeah. And it's not projecting the right
kind of things.
Yeah.
It's weird because obviously this was filmed in 2023.
Yeah.
So obviously the context that it was filmed and written in isn't the same.
Yeah, totally.
But it's also same enough that you can go either way. It released like 2 weeks ago. Like it released this year when all these things are happening.
Yeah.
The same with the Interstellar contest. Could have been written 2 years ago. It still has. You still have an obligation to be like, this is the context in which it was released.
Yeah.
You could have held that episode if you really wanted to.
It's true.
I don't know. It feels like a big mistake, especially coming from the Doctor. What is a good scene? What is a good moment with Shooty? I really like it. Love the TARDIS being all like enlightenment from Classic Who. It looks really cool.
Yeah.
But it's just the message. And I can sit here and I can be like, listen, I had so much fun. The twist was great. The core idea is great. I love questioning Unit and being like, fuck, what are they doing?
Yeah.
Actually, what are they doing? Obviously, we've got this spin-off coming up. It's by the same writer. And if this isn't tackled again in that spin-off, if this isn't an ongoing thread, I'm going to be really, really upset.
Yeah.
Because realistically, this is what a Unit show should be.
Totally. Because
that's so interesting.
And I mean, because right now, without hindsight now, because we've not watched the Unit show because it's not out. If we watch that and it continues to take on stuff from this episode and develops it, and then we can look back and it actually, the context makes more sense now.
Yes, yeah.
That's when you're like, okay, cool, we're fine. But because it's so vague about who it's portraying as the good guy and who's the bad guy, really.
Yeah.
Like, there's obviously, like, this guy Conrad, he's pretty bad.
Yeah, he's bad. He has a gun and he holds up Unit. But on the same hand, Unit does awful things to him.
Yeah, Kate literally is like, yeah, fuck it. Here's the alien.
Kate should have done that from the beginning. Yeah. Which is the other thing, right? Because I'm on Unit's side in the sense that I know what Doctor is, I know what Unit is. And I'm like, fucking knock this cunt out.
Yeah.
Honestly, grow up. Fucking set the shriek loose. I would have done that first thing. The second you heard that he was in the building, I'd be like,
yeah.
Lost the key. Like,
but then it's like public image.
Which is the other thing.
Oh, Unit then just
unleashed a devil beast on a guy. Again, really interesting, and we see nothing.
Yeah.
Obviously, I know the Unit's back in the finale, as is Conrad, because Mrs. Flood lets him out. Obviously, at the end.
Yeah.
Jingle jangle lets him out. What's that about? Fucking.
I don't care.
Yeah. Who knows? Who cares?
Mrs. Flood, get out of here. Stop being in episodes random. I don't care enough.
Like, genuinely, absolutely, yeah. But she lets him out, and he's going to be in the finale because we've seen pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
So he's going to be in the finale. I'm intrigued to see if, like, Unit and Conrad, and if this is still a thing. I hope the fuck it is. If, realistically, we're losing an episode in between this of just normal Doctor Who to do this. And I would take an entire season of this. Which is why I'm glad that we're getting a show. But it feels weird. It feels weird placed here right now. You know, I don't know. That's losing me a touch. But I want to see how it goes.
Yeah, it's also I'm still struggling with context of stuff. Because when is Shooty saying this?
Oh, at the end of that, yeah, okay. To me, I thought it was after Ruby left, but before Belinda.
But then how does he know? And like, I know he's a time traveller, but like,
how does he know about Conrad?
Yeah, is it because? No, actually, no. It does make sense, but then surely, right? I know he left Ruby.
Yes.
But surely, like, you hear about this stuff. You come back and you hear about this stuff right now happening, and you go, oh, maybe I should check up on Ruby.
No, I'm gonna fight the man.
Yeah.
Gonna have a chat with the man.
I'm gonna have a chat with the man, and then I'm gonna disappear.
Tell him to kill himself, and he'll rot and die in prison.
And then it's like,
okay.
Oh, so you're not gonna go console your friend
who is like clearly upset and hurt?
Yeah. No,
it's okay because of you, because of the Doctor. Yeah. At the end of the day, I do like though that conversation ties the Doctor into Robot Revolution because he goes, "Have you met Belinda yet?" That's Conrad, because obviously Conrad met Belinda when he was a kid. That's fun, like that it all, and it ties in together.
Does he say her name though?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
He goes, "Have you met Belinda yet?" and that's why
But
the Doctor.
I mean, did the Doctor say that when meeting Conrad for the first time?
Yeah, we probably went. This is Belinda. Generally.
Okay, cool.
I think so.
That's fine.
I think it all tied in really nice.
That's fine. Because at the end there, I was like, oh, how does he know? But then I suppose that makes sense.
Yeah, but it is cool, and it's not a lucky day for Doctor Who, but I had a really fun time with it. Yeah. I think it's still a banger season so far.
Yeah.
Despite the weird optics that it's got, and like it's difficult for me because I'm not a politician. I'm not even a politics fan. But when it comes into Doctor Who, I just sit there and I'm like, I don't get why this is the angle that we're taking. Like in real life, there's too much, and I don't have the words for it. I don't have the vocal range to discuss things like that as in depth. But when it's in Doctor Who, I'm like, okay, I can take what I know and kind of apply it to this show that I love, because that's kind of how media works anyway. But yeah, strange optics, but a fun episode. Looking past it,
yeah, I enjoyed it. But yeah, looking back on it, you're right. You know, you are right. Like even talking through it, this is why I love doing this.
Yeah,
because it's like I could have just went, yeah, I love this episode, nothing wrong with it, and then we talk about it, and I go, fuck, actually, yeah, you're right. Because upon rewatch, if I did go back and rewatch this, I would have probably came to the same conclusion, right? But then that's like not as fun.
No, exactly. That's one of the reasons that I started this in the first place, was just to like, hey, look, we're talking about Doctor Who. A, it's a good reason to get my friends over and to hang out with my friends, but also it's just fun. Like it's fun to be like, especially for us, Robots of Death. When we talked about that, I still think about that as one of the best ones that we've done, just because it's different angles that I would never have thought about beforehand.
Totally.
And now I am. Absolutely. I don't know. That's why I like Blueboxd.
Yeah.
And I hope that's why you like Blueboxd.
I hope so. Or maybe we scared you off with our politics.
There's every single chance. But I think we may be in the correct here.
Well, I mean, Lux shows a very diverse group of Doctor Who fans.
Oh, it's so
probably
dead.
all within the
They'd probably stand with Unit.
Yeah. Yeah, but they probably stand with Unit in the way that we stand with Unit, because we've watched the show.
Yeah.
They probably don't stand with Unit like how the right wing do. You don't think so?
They look like devout fans who would not question it. Their favourite episode was All Blank. These cunts do not think.
I think that's crazy. That's crazy. But
yeah. So, okay, overall, what would you give Lucky Day?
I give it out of 10.
Out of 10.
A 6.
6? Interesting, okay. I was thinking 7, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I think if I can switch my brain off, it is still a fun episode of Doctor Who.
I agree.
Love Ruby. I'm sad that the Doctor isn't in it, but I've also been begging for a Unit show for I don't know how long. I think 6 is fair. Yeah. It does have gaping problems.
I think my rating system might be different, to be fair, but I never think of like, I mean, 5 is like, cool, we're somewhere, right?
Okay.
It's quite solid, got a foundation here.
Right.
But maybe not like built upon, but it's still like, it's average.
Yeah,
it's like, so 6 is like, oh, okay, it's above average.
Yeah, okay,
you know?
Yes, yeah.
Whereas like a 1 would be like,
this was the worst.
There's nothing here at all, kind of thing. So
it Lux.
Yeah.
No, like I suppose that's the same with me. Like my 5 is just like, it's fine.
Yeah, yeah. I can watch that. It's totally fine.
Yeah. Okay, interesting.
A 7's like, shit. Okay, we've got something good here. There's some substance. 10 is where it's. I don't know if I've rated much a 10.
No, certainly not on Blueboxd.
No. Nor Letterboxd.com. Although that's at 5.
Yeah, shit. Well, it's all at 10 because there's halves.
True.
That's how I use mine.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, complete detour. Anyway, thank you so much for listening and watching.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed, let us know what you thought. Do you think we're completely out of base? Do you think we're the worst Doctor Who fans ever?
Do you think we're right-wing incels?
Please no. I hope not. We really try. We both have partners.
We may be.
Oh. Shit, fuck. Unit lies.
Unit lies.
Thank you.
Goddamn.
Goodbye.